Okay guys, well with innovation, the theme for the ATEC convention or symposium here in Newcastle in New South Wales today, in Australia for those of you overseas, what better innovation could there be than speaking with somebody who launched Global Gossip, which is a highly innovative product. So here I'm with Peter Ovenden. Peter, and you're also the MC for the day. But before we talk about that, let's talk about Global Gossip. What sort of happened in your mind to launch it, and how's the whole program going?
Oh, interesting question. I was a young traveller in England and I moved to France, lived in Paris for a while. And back then, it was about 12 years ago, you had to register your modem with the local police station.
Oh, wow.
When you lived in France. It was one of the many things you had to
Bizarre.
do. Very bizarre, pre-internet in a way. Well, not pre-internet, the internet had just started. Came out to Australia, realised that as a traveller, the need to communicate is incredibly strong. And that was communication by phone ostensibly.
Yep.
As we launched our business here in Australia, we came up with the concept of an internet cafe with phone booths. What happened was, about 6 months before we launched Global Gossip, Hotmail had been launched. And really it was the death knell for the postcard and post restant. The travellers embraced Hotmail faster than anything else that was virally possible.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. So Hotmail just took off, and it was a way for travellers to communicate with each other while travelling. Instead of leaving messages on notice boards at post restant, the travellers finally had a medium, a forum, with which they could go. As long as they had an internet connection, they could communicate.
So how many locations do you have now in Australia, New Zealand, and I think you mentioned before England, and now going into Spain?
Yeah.
The world is your oyster.
Yeah, it is a bit of an oyster, a tough nut at times. We have about over 200 locations now. We have a core of about 16 large internet cafe type locations and another 200 partner or client sites. And they're all across Australia, all over New Zealand, all over Fiji, Vanuatu, in London, and in the next few weeks we'll be going into Spain as well, with 3 locations in Barcelona.
Excellent. Well, look, let's talk about today's conference as well, though. You're the MC, as I say. So your objective today, what do you want to get out of today, and how are you going to steer the conference to sort of benefit the industry to the most, or to the max, and also BTAP as well, that you're the vice chair of?
It's a good question, actually, John. What we're doing is we're trying to create a forum that both challenges, informs, educates, and at the same time is an enjoyable experience. I mean, sitting in a room all day can be a bit tough. What we're doing in particular is focusing on innovation and how people can innovate their product and move it to another level. That's one thing we're trying to do, is a message we're clearly trying to get out. The other thing, and what's really important, is the ability for operators to talk to each other, to share the ideas share ideas, but at the same time they have conflicts in common. As much as what they have in common, on a positive note, there are things that they're fighting on a daily basis to improve their business. So from really as a goal for today, it's to inform, educate, challenge. It's to push an agenda in relation, and also to develop an agenda that we can in turn take out to the wider market.
Cool. It's good to see Tourism Australia, Tourism New South Wales, Northern Territory, and people here as well. What's your view on how state governments and the federal government can work together with your industry?
Good question. More and more we're sort of being challenged by these sort of private-public partnerships. We find in the backpacker space that a lot of the work that our industry does is self-motivated, self-funded, really you have to get off your backside and get out there and promote your business. What we need to do is communicate to government, both state and federally, that the backpacker sector is the source of employment in hotels. In the industry itself, we provide not just this initial core offering of travellers that will come back for time and time again. They might repeat as a more mature traveller. What we also find is that without backpackers, you would not be able to open up your hotels or your resorts or your tours, not just because they're people that are taking the tours, but they're the people that are serving you your food and serving you your drink.
Fantastic. Well, guys, Peter, thank you very much indeed for your time. This is Travel Mole on location at the ATEC Symposium in Newcastle, and it's amazing to hear so much innovation coming out of the backpacker space, and we'll be talking to some other people from the symposium later on today. Thank you.
Thanks, John.